Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for February the 12th through the 18th, 2018. So let's just take a moment to take a deep breath and to really connect in through our heart space, our heart center, and just allowing your heart center to open up to the cosmic love of the universe. And just let this love in your heart flow through all of your chakras and expanding your intuition, your third eye. In particular, focus all of that divine healing and love into your third eye and just allowing it to just open up, to be open to and receptive of your truth, to be help you to focus and be centered in the present, and to feel safe about your life purpose, and to feel safe about where you are right now, helping you to see the opportunities that are manifesting for you right now in the present moment. All the blessings and abundance and opportunities that are available to you, the possibilities, the potential that is available to you right now in this moment, to help you to look past the insecurities that you have or you're experiencing, especially as it pertains to relationships. And allowing yourself to find balance in your relationships, in your romantic relationships, in your home, with your families, your friends, colleagues. You sort of really tune in to this inner clarity, which helps you to see everyone at the core of their truth, to discover within them that universal God, oneness. So, as I'm tuning in, and as we were tuning in at the very beginning, I was seeing giraffes actually, and sort of reaching up to the branches of these very tall trees. And when I see trees, they represent your alignment and your higher consciousness, that connection. The trunk represents the connection to your higher consciousness, which represented for me symbolically by the branches, and that the giraffes, their heads were in that higher consciousness. So they help us, they're like ladders, right? They're into that higher consciousness. So getting a sense about you um, having the ability to raise your raise your head, so to speak, raise your mind to this level of dignity that and truth that your higher self holds for you. Your higher self is always holding this high philosophy or higher perspective, and you have access to this. You have and it gives me a sense of the giraffe and the neck just being the ladder of ascension. Um, so a lot of what's going on right now, I'm getting a sense of you feeling like you're repeating, or you may just be repeating some patterns or some situations or circumstances that are coming up for you in your relationships. These vulnerabilities, These are really strong muscles, okay, that have really gotten a lot of work over your lifetime and probably lifetimes, and that you are being given an opportunity to um, rise up, rise up in your dignity to that level of perspective and see it from a different um, awareness. And so you're ready to transition or to um, move beyond this, to step out of this conditioning and step fully into the right, not the word, step into the unconditionalness of love, to really start giving yourself to the passions. And there you may be experiencing this gap between this yourself and the love that you possess and your passions, the outer expression of your passions and the fulfillment of them in your life. This it creates a sense of it's a very vulnerable place to be in that gap between the love that is offered from within and making that connection to the passions that are expressed um, outside of you, but through the language, the codes, and the wisdom, codes of wisdom and keys of your heart. And so, don't be afraid of this really strong muscle, because love has the codes, the keys to soothe this muscle, to bring it back into alignment. And it has the blueprint of perfection to offer you to unlock this this pattern and to rewrite a whole new frequency over this. So don't try to wrestle with this pattern that you feel locked into. Let it be. Let it. You're gonna, you know, you're gonna let yourself ascend over that dimension, that third dimensional reality where you feel locked into things. We can't. I don't know. I'm feeling this way, but maybe this. Hear this. I guess it's almost like we don't need to try to break the chains. We just need to write over them, write a new code. And what will happen is that dimension would be there, but it won't be operational for you because the new code is more powerful and stronger. So you don't have to try to go and fix or undo the old because its frequency will be lower and it will be there's a word, it's a technology word that I'm almost hearing. It's just that it's obsolete. There it is. That's the word. So do you understand when something becomes obsolete, it just has no power. It may be there on that dimension, but it's obsolete. And so when you lay in this new pattern, this higher frequency, this higher code, if you will, this becomes optimal. And so the universe will always swing towards the optimal frequency of what you offer. You don't have to fight the lower frequencies. We fluctuate anyway. But the thing is that we're moving into a time where we're going to be predominantly focused in a higher frequency. The lower frequencies aren't going anywhere, but they will become obsolete, meaning no longer powerful, effective enough to be bothersome. But if you give your attention to it and you try to fix it, you give it your energy. You energize it by your attention. So I know it's hard because I feel that most of you feel very strongly that you've got to break this thing. You've got to fight this thing. You got to conquer it in order to win. It's like, but the win that you're looking for is to have the last word. And by And by engaging in a dialogue, a conversation with the thing that you don't want, all you're doing is giving it power. You're feeding it. Do you see? So let it go and step into, you have this ability. They really want you to understand that in any situation, you have the ability to to raise your head, and I'm just using this phrase because of the giraffe, to raise your head above the fray of this these circumstances, above the third dimensional reality of feeling trapped and stuck in the material conditionings, the physical conditionings, you know, and to step and to raise your head into the dignity of your own spiritual enlightenment. Because whether you believe this or not, but you should understand it at least, that this in, dimension of enlightenment, the fourth dimension, and all the higher dimensions, the fifth, have always been there, fully operational. And you have are having an experience on those dimensions. It's just that, where does our attention go? What are the choices that you make that focuses you in one of these dimensions over the other? But they are all present, omnipresent. They are all fully active with possibilities. It's maybe another way of thinking of like having all these different video recorders, and each one is running a different experience, a different framework. And you have the choice to sort of tune in, choose which one you experience you would like to watch. And it's there are reasons why sometimes we choose to watch certain things over other things, even though we know it's not as high vibrational. But it maybe this is something you need to process. But what we would want you to know is, you have free will, and nobody's even trying to make you feel bad about what you choose. But they want you to understand that with great speed, they want you to get that you have the choice to tune in to any channel, any of these frameworks at any time. They are all available to you in every experience, situation, event, rather, that you are experiencing or living. So don't feel locked in to anything. But the thing is that we want you to pay attention to is the dignity, raising your head, so to speak, your mind, to the level of dignity. That is to say, what that is, that represents your true consciousness, your pure consciousness, the consciousness that brings you in alignment with the abundance that you are, this alignment, this dignity that brings you to a place of peace. I just feel it just flowing up and down my body, and really in particular I felt the energy go right into my solar plexus, so and really ease and soothe that area. So it's about noticing when we're in these power struggles, and knowing that this is not that level of dignity that you deserve, and that you can lift your head up into that higher level of consciousness where your dignity is always intact, and the guidance is always offering the highest resolutions of this experience for you to choose from. That's beautiful, right? It's always offering you the highest resolutions of this experience to choose from. So, when you raise yourself to that level of dignity, you align yourself, you start to see this alignment of soulful connections coming in your relationships of various kinds. And so you don't want to just practice this in one specific area, but you want to practice this truth in all relationships, because we cultivate this being able to sustain these higher dimensions on a subject like love, or let's say relationships, because that could encompass all kinds of relationships. We focus our attention on this broad spectrum of and bringing this dignity to all relationships, which increases your sense of hope, is the word they're writing out in front of me. And it places you in that sixth dimension where you start to bring trust into the fabric of your life. So what's going on with a lot of us in terms of relationships is that we are not experiencing this level of trust because we focus on just one particular relationship, and that usually is the romance. And when we don't get what we're looking for, we feel very vulnerable. We feel like we're drowning, and our hearts become very heavy. And that heaviness, that denseness, traps us into a third dimensional framework where we feel trapped. We feel like love is not possible, that we have no options for ourselves. We feel that we're not loved, that we're alone, because this is all what the framework of the ego. It speaks about limits and limitations. I'm sorry, limitations and lack. So it's just going to, it's once you're trapped in that, you're going to just start to draw all that in. Now I'm seeing unicorns, and they're coming through with their ninth dimensional frequency and seventh dimensional frequencies to open your heart to that cosmic love. So what I've been learning is that their their horns are projections of the third eye energy. They're when they project healing, that healing energy of the third eye, the clarity, the peace. So know that your unicorns are working with you right now to help open your third eye, to help you to project this blueprint of peace into your the framework that you're in, to give you that ability to lift your head up, lift your mind up above that into that place of dignity and enlightenment. It's very important that you not just focus on this one kind of love, especially if you feel very trapped already. It's important that you start to focus this love in all relationships. Find the dignity. Lift your head above that framework of third dimension into the framework of enlightenment. Lift it up into this higher consciousness in all relationships, practicing this dignity. So it's very simplistic. When you don't feel good, you're not interacting with that dignity that's available to you. And so it's your role to choose the dignity over anything, any reasons that you could conjure for yourself. Like when you are worried of being rejected, or you're worried about not being, well, that's a big piece of it, rejection, right? Not being good enough, not being worthy enough, not deserving enough. These things will occur in your mind when you don't practice being aware first. So at first, just be aware. You may not be able to do anything in the beginning, but you can just become aware of it. And Archangel Raphael is coming through right now. And he's saying if you call upon him, he will help you to heal the emotional um, body that is carrying so much of this stuck energy. And they're touching my navel chakra, Archangel Raphael. And this is about opening up, and this is a fifth dimensional chakra actually, and it's orange. The chakras in the fifth dimension have changed colors. So, but this is about community, and according to some people, this was um, one of the chakras that we had in the in Atlantis. So during the ascended era, the golden era of Atlantis. So this is a chakra about community and community love, feeling this interconnectedness and oneness with every human being, every being in the universe and on the planet. So it's going to be really important for you to connect in and focus this love, this dignity in all relationships, building this new, this is going to build this new code pattern, this frequency that will become optimized through your awareness, consistency first, and awareness. So don't beat yourself up if you can't change your actions, but notice if you how much more you're aware of what's your dignity and what's not your dignity, and not to go in and to go and talk about and blame and you know, don't make don't make it like, oh, I figured out. It's you don't need to understand, you just need to be aware. You don't need to dig in and fix anything, is what I mean by that. You just, the awareness is the healing that you're looking for. Because that awareness will allow you to focus your energy where it's most beneficial for you and useful to others. Okay? So this is what's really important right now. And then you'll move from being consistent in awareness to consistent in choice, in your choices about, and that is to say, choosing the experience, the framework of dignity versus the other. And once that choice becomes consistent enough, you will be filled with hope. You'll be filled with enlightenment, with a whole new, a broader range of love than you've known before. And that means that the love lesson is no longer stagnating in that third dimensional framework. It's no longer materialistic. You're not worried about what people think of you and what you have and don't have. You are being consistent in this very unconditional broad spectrum of love, this higher, this that honors your dignity and everyone else's. And once you're consistently offering this, then you will attract all forms of love in your life. Each area will be abundant. And that is how you get to embrace that romantic love in your life. Remember, the universe is always offering many possibilities, not one. But you get to choose, though. Isn't that beautiful? But isn't it better that you get to choose than rather only have one and then think you've missed something? But it's not about missing anything. It's about the framework in which you're operating in. And if the giraffe's heads were down grazing, and it's sort of like we want you to lift your head up into that level of dignity and become aware of this. Okay, so let's take a look at the Archangel card for the theme of our week. Okay, and we have Archangel Uriel, and this card said is about a brilliant idea. So it says, yes, your idea is divinely guided. Please take action to bring this idea into fruition. So I'm getting a sense that there is a decision. So this could be um, a decision that you are coming into, that you're becoming aware of. It's something that has come to you like an idea. It revolves a passion, is the word they're showing me. And they're writing safe. So, first of all, I feel like they want you to trust your heart on whatever subject this is, even if this pertains to a relationship, and you feel all of a sudden like, you know, you feel this connection, like this thought comes to you that someone you and someone else shares a very powerful connection. Trust that, okay? Trust that what comes to you, and don't doubt it. But this could also be about a passion, so as a purpose, something, a plan, or some um, feeling like you've come to an awareness of some opportunity, and that you can create, and something that you're passionate about, and that you've gotten this sort of hit, and they're letting you know that this is, you're hearing it accurately. I mean, it's all this golden energy that Archangel Uriel is exuding here. And so it's giving you this confidence to trust, to that, and support backing up what you've been getting. So take this as a sign. And they're showing me like a big sign, but they're showing me a flower um, sort of growing from the stem or the pole of the sign that's rooted in the ground. And so it's sort of like, it feels like this is something, they wrote floor, something like grassroots, where you're going to be building something from the ground up. And it involves, they're writing out people, so it involves people. It involves you working with people who are very vulnerable emotionally, people who, let's see, I'm seeing the word tango. I don't know why. um, the symbolism that I'm seeing, this may be involving people who are struggling in some way with their own dignity, and helping them to look within and feel safe, um, to go within. I'm also feeling like that this may, people who don't believe in themselves, it may be something where you're like a consultant, um, or you're this ear, um, to help empower their inner voice to kind of proceed like a coach or something like this on their divine life purpose. It's showing me sort of like a recliner, and I don't know if it's like to help them relax, or um, in some way, or to be open more to what's what's coming to them. I almost felt like that this that they would not get going on it. That there are people who need help moving on their life purpose, and this is something that you're passionate about, helping people, and you have this knowledge and wisdom that you're able to activate them and motivate them um, through the clarity that you can help them discover about themselves. Okay, so yeah, it's I'm getting a sense that a lot of people are really going to need more support, um, because people are getting all kinds of ideas, and their instincts are just giving them all sorts of hits, but they're just so trapped in that third dimensional framework of not believing in themselves, and feeling inadequate, and just they don't like they don't believe that they can make it make a difference, And so that's why you're going to be, and the unicorns are coming through to also, because they help light up any individual with their frequency, who is trying to, whose purpose is to serve, to serve, okay, simply put. And so they will help you, with this, to help others, to help light up their path for them. That this kind of service where you inspire others, they will, be with you. And it's so funny because I'm just noticing there's a unicorn, a winged unicorn here on the card. So the wings, like with the angels, are really the heart chakras, uh, fully expanded, and it's sort of seen as, the light is seen as wings. So like the unicorn's horns is really is the light coming from the third eye. So there's this, in this card, the heart is opening and the third eye is opening. So there's this healing of the heart, and, passions flowing in this week very strongly. In this week, all kinds of passions. All right, and so you can trust and take action on these ideas, or that that these ideas have the opportunity to come into fruition. You always have opportunity to bring ideas into fruition. Okay, there's optimal, or and sometimes where it may not be optimal, meaning you are not ready. It doesn't mean the universe is always ready. Okay, because somebody asked me a question this week, and it's sort of like, oh, I had this, you said I have this is the time to do it. No, the time is always, but time is three-dimensional. So time refers to your ego, you being ready. The universe at higher dimensions is always ready to, they're stored up. We are not always ready. So when people talk about the right time, they're talking about you. You being open and receptive to the time that is available to you eternally. But you and I see things in time. You know, we this time linear reality, like everything's moving from left to right. That's us, not the universe. Okay, let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. Okay, so we have the Five of Fire, and this card, um, I like this card because for me this is about you competing with yourself. Okay, you're struggling with yourself. You have goals that you're struggling with, um, meeting those goals. It's like, you see behind this card, you see you see behind the five wands that are crossing each other, kind of blocking the vision. So, and behind the vision, there's this serene river. I mean, it's placid. It's like a mirror, and it's, reflecting everything, the peace, the freedom, all your dreams. It's the land, it's verdant. It's so the thing is that you are. And when I see this card, I call it, in this particular deck, the you can't see the forest for the trees, because you're in your own way, and you're feeling, and you're and what you're responding to, you're feeling challenged by the changes that are coming about in your life, and they're probably happening very quickly, like these ideas that you're getting, and it's like a thunderbolt, and it's scaring you. You're scared of the guidance that you're getting, because you weren't ready for that. It's like you were like, you want, let's say, you want love and you want more money, but you didn't think it was going to come that soon, or you didn't think, you were going to have to do that, or things were going to have to go in that direction in order for that to happen. And so it's about you. You're never going to be ready. Okay, you're never going to be ready, because you're human. Your ego is never going to be ready for you to experience, um, your desires, to experience fulfillment and happiness, to experience expansion. It's never going to be ready for that. Everything it does, not because it is believes differently. It's afraid. Remember, the ego's not evil, it's just afraid. Very, very afraid. This is where your fear comes from. So that's why when you feel fear, you have to know that there's another choice. You have to raise your head to the level of that of dignity that your higher consciousness holds for you. And that fear will be able to resolve or dissolve, excuse me, and resolve. Yeah. So don't don't struggle with yourself. And if that you find that you're having conflicts with others, as this card may say, or don't get bogged down in conflicts with other people. Don't make it personal. You know, d- because your ego will is afraid, and so then it's going to personalize every experience and turn it into um, for you to feel threatened or to feel, it turns your fears into threats so that you get distracted by that. Don't get bogged down in details. If something is not working, you know what, leave it alone, or get somebody else to do it and move on and do what you can do. Let it go. All right, because that's just a distraction to throw you off of, and to keep you stuck in that framework. Go out, take a walk, do something that you love, go get something to eat, whatever makes you feel good, do it. Come back and see if there's assistance and support around you to help. All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. And talking about cutting things loose, the Queen of Air is very good at that. She's just not very. She can detach herself from things that don't make sense. All right, and so you have to see that fumbling around in that third dimensional framework of fear is just not sensible. Okay, and so you gotta cut those things loose. You gotta let them go, and you gotta call things to the place of truth. You gotta stand in your truth. Don't be afraid to call out something if it's not in alignment or in integrity. Even if that's another person. Okay, don't be afraid to call people to the table, and if that's the expression, I'm not sure. I can't remember. But you know what I'm trying to say. Don't be afraid to hold someone accountable. Okay, but you, in the same way, in a compassionate way, if I put that in, hold yourself accountable by noticing, and for the other person too, if they are in that place of dignity. Is this, I mean, it's easy to see when people are misbehaving, or not misbehaving, but when they're acting in a way that offends you. Don't get upset with them. They're not in their place of dignity. Just like when you're perceiving it that way, you're not in that place of dignity. See, it has to be, in order for it to be real, somebody else has to see it. And if you witness this as in this way, lacking dignity, then you are not in that place either. Because that love and unconditional love sees them for who they truly are, sees you for who you truly are at all times. And that's why when you see another in their truth, you are in your truth. You are in that place of dignity and alignment. So let that be your measurement for another way of understanding when you are in that place of dignity, because so much love flows through you. All right. And this, then the third card for the end of the week is the Six of Earth, and this is a card of, I see this as a card of balance. I mean, it's a card of balance, obviously, around material things, so that things are coming into balance, possibly resources that you needed, or any kind of opportunities, money and time. These are the things of the physical realm. It'll seem like they're balanced. So, what you're starting off at the beginning of the week, where you may feel like you're just don't have enough time, or the harder you work, the time is slipping, and all of a sudden you feel like you're working in this very balanced way, that you have the ideas, you are able to execute them, Um, so this is another way to look at this card in terms of the physical meaning, the physical representations or symbolism of this card is just not about money, but it's about all these other components to having energy, feeling balanced, and having enough energy to do things. You know, all these things work together and support one another. And then, you know, you may even just see your financial circumstances differently. You lifted your head up to that level of dignity where you can see how you can even rearrange things, and you know how to execute certain bills in a particular way in order to get them off that weight off your plate and take care of your other responsibilities, where before you were so confused and because everything is being colored by the emotional experience of that third dimensional framework where you could no longer. So there's a sense of enlightenment coming in the end of the week in terms of dealing with the mundane things of life, the routines and your obligations. All right, let's take a look at this card I already pulled from the bottom. It's the Page of Water. So we almost have like every suit here. We do. So there's a balance coming in here this week. We have two court cards, and so uh, um, I'm feeling this thing about personalities, because you know air and water personalities are very different. but there seems like there may be this balance, or that comes in terms of sort of personalities that usually don't gel, but you find this balance. This could also relate to, and I feel like a new energy, a new relationship develops. Even in an existing relationship, something shifts. Something opens up there, right in the word joy. And so, and it's something about you expressing joy, finding an inner joy. So I feel like you're going to get this breakthrough for yourself, and it may be in a relationship. It also, card could mean a new love coming into your life, and I know that would be perfect for this time of the year when we have Valentine's and all that. But remember, um, this month for me is, I call it my spiritual birthday, because I feel like I have all in this month. I always discover. I go through this ascension process where there's all these new spiritual experiences I have, and I feel like I fall in love with myself more in this month. I don't know how to explain that to you, but so you could be having sort of that experience where you feel prosperous, you feel loved, and you are loving, and you see the world in a very different light. So things there's an opportunity for some things to come into balance and to clear some things in this week, and it's about focusing and not letting things get in you, bog you down, and to pay attention to what's important to you in this week. Focus on what gives you dignity. Okay? So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and thank you all for joining us. If you would like an angel reading, you can contact me at theangelschool.com on the services page, and there you can find the different readings. There's a discounted first time promotional angel reading. And if, let's see, there's also the Divine Roadmap class courses. So it's just like 10, but you get one for free if you pay for them all at the same time. Also, join us for the daily card messages on Facebook, which you can find that description link below. You can find our Twitter link. You can blink. You can connect to us through Twitter as well on that, and the link below, which you can get the card messages and the readings, these video readings as well. So thank you for all your comments, your likes, and subscriptions. And I'll see you all next week. And be kind to yourself, okay? And be loving to yourself. Have a beautiful, wonderful week. God bless you all.